When the world's never turning, when the fear wasn't flowing, when evil wasn't showing, as the stars turn above us, so the snakes sweep beneath us. Stand your ground. Stand your ground. Strong and proud. Strong and proud. Hold your ground. Hold your ground. And always, never back down to tyranny. Stand your ground. You'll never be beat. Never back down. Your ground will never be beaten. Never, never. Whatever created the sun, moon, and stars to design everyone to be free. We don't need permission to allow us irrevocable rights, choices, voices, life for liberty. Stand your ground, strong and proud. Raise your flag on your ground. Always never back down to tyranny. Never surrender, never retreat. Never no fear, you'll never know defeat. Fight for your future, fight for your right, fight for your freedom to fight, fight for your life. Lockdown, save us, death jam. When the storm isn't blowing, when the time isn't going, always, when the sky isn't falling, when the end isn't calling, as the spark bolts of lightning, so the darkness is blinding. Stand your ground. Stand your ground. Strong and proud. Strong and proud. Place that truth you found. And always never back down to tyranny. Never surrender. Never retreat. Never no fear. You'll never be beat. Fight for our futures. Fight for our rights. Fight for your children. The freedom. Fight for the life. No, you won't. You won't. It's time to take on. So we have a way to do what you take on. Now I'll see you wake up. And we're coming for you. Stay fast. Now we're coming for you. So run for your life. We're growing in millions and we're all coming for you. Run for millions. Run for your life. Oh. Andy here, coming to you live from Eugene, Oregon. Got the book open here, the digital version of the Ethiopian Bible, Enoch 47.
And in those days shall have ascended the prayer of the righteous, and the blood of the righteous, from the earth, before the Lord of spirits. In those days the holy ones who dwell above in the heavens shall unite with one voice, and supplicate and pray and praise, and give thanks and bless the name of the Lord of spirits, on behalf of the blood of the righteous which has been shed, and that the prayer of the righteous may not be in vain before the Lord of spirits, that judgment may be done unto them, and that they may not have to suffer forever. In those days I saw the head of days, when he seated himself upon the throne of his glory, and the books of the living were opened before him. And all his host, which is in heaven above, and his counselors, stood before him. And the hearts of the holy were filled with joy, because the number of the righteous had been offered, and the prayer of the righteous had been heard, and the blood of the righteous been required before the Lord of spirits. Enoch 48. Enoch 48. And in that place I saw the fountain of righteousness, which was inexhaustible, and around it were many fountains of wisdom, and all the thirsty drank of them, and were filled with wisdom. And their dwellings were with the righteous and holy and elect. And at that hour that Son of Man was named in the presence of the Lord of spirits, and his name before the head of days. Yea, before the sun and the signs were created, before the stars of heaven were made, his name was named before the Lord of spirits. He shall be a staff to the righteous, whereon to stay themselves and not fall. And he shall be the light of the Gentiles, and the hope of those who are troubled of heart. All who dwell on earth shall fall down and worship before him, and will praise and bless and celebrate with the song the Lord of spirits. And for this reason hath he been chosen and hidden before him, before the creation of the world, and forevermore. And the wisdom of the Lord of spirits hath revealed him to the holy and righteous, for he hath preserved the lot of the righteous, because they have hated and despised this world of unrighteousness, and have hated all its works and ways in the name of the Lord of spirits. For in his name they are saved, and according to his good pleasure hath it been in regard to their life. In these days downcast in countenance shall the kings of the earth have become, and the strong who possess the land, because of the works of their hands. For on the day of their anguish and affliction they shall not be able to save themselves. And I will give them over into the hands of mine elect, as straw in the fire, so shall they burn before the face of the holy. As lead in the water shall they sink before the face of the righteous, and no trace of them shall any more be found. And on the day of their affliction there shall be rest on the earth, and before them they shall fall and not rise again, and there shall be no one to take them with his hands and raise them, for they have denied the Lord of spirits and his anointed. The name of the Lord of spirits be blessed. For wisdom is poured out like water, and glory faileth not before him forevermore. For he is mighty in all the secrets of righteousness, and unrighteousness shall disappear as a shadow, and have no continuance. Because the elect one standeth before the Lord of spirits, and his glory is forever and ever, and his might unto all generations. And in him dwells the spirit of wisdom, and the spirit which gives insight, and the spirit of understanding and of might, and the spirit of those who have fallen asleep in righteousness. And he shall judge the secret things, and none shall be able to utter a lying word before him. For he is the elect one before the Lord of spirits, according to his good pleasure. Amen. Today's episode will be a little bit shorter than usual. I'm going to leave it off here in Enoch. Next time up, do Enoch 50. And in those days a change shall take place for the holy and elect, and the light of days shall abide upon them, and glory and honor shall turn to the holy. Okay, now we got Geneva Bible open. Continuing on here in the Gospel of Mark with chapter 6. And Jesus departed thence, and came into his own country, and his disciples followed him. And when the Sabbath was come, he began to teach in the synagogue. And many that heard him were astonied, and said, From whence hath this man these things? And what wisdom is this that is given unto him, that even such great works are done by his hands? Isn't this that carpenter Mary's son, the brother of James, and Joseph, and of Judah, and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended at him. Then Jesus said unto them, A prophet is not with honor, but in his own country, and among his own kindred, and in his own house. And he could there do no great works, save that he laid his hand upon a few sick people there. Pardon me. And he could there do no great works, save that he laid his hands upon a few sick folk, and healed them. And he marveled at their unbelief, and went about by the towns on every side, teaching. And he called unto him the 12, and began to send them forth 2 and 2, and gave them power over unclean spirits, and commanded them that they should take nothing for their journey, save a staff only, neither scrip, neither bread, neither money in their girdles, but that they should be shod with sandals, and that they should not put on 2 coats. And he said unto them, Wheresoever you shall enter into an house, and there abide till you depart thence. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear you, when you depart thence, shake off the dust that is under your feet. For a witness unto them, verily I say unto you, it shall be easier for Sodom or Gomorrah at the day of judgment than for that city. And they went out and preached, that men should amend their lives. And they cast out many devils, and they anointed many that were sick with oil, and healed them. Then King Herod heard of him, for his name was made manifest, and said, John Baptist is risen again from the dead, and therefore great works are wrought by him. Others said, It is Elias, and some said, It is a prophet, or as one of those prophets. So when Herod heard it, he said, It is John whom I beheaded. He is risen from the dead. For Herod himself had sent forth and had taken John and bound him in prison for Herodias' sake, which was his brother Philip's wife, because he had married her. For John said unto Herod, It is not lawful for you to have your brother's wife. Therefore Herodias laid wait against him, and would have him killed, but she could not. For Herod feared John, knowing that he was a just man, and an holy, and reverenced him. And when he heard him, he did many things, and heard him gladly. But the time being convenient, when Herod on his birthday made a banquet to his princes and captains and chief estates of Galilee, and the daughter of the same Herodias came in, and danced, and pleased Herod, and them that sat at table together. The king said unto the maid, Ask of me what thou wilt, and I will give it to thee. And he sware unto her, Whatsoever thou shalt ask of me, I will give it thee, even unto the half of my kingdom. So she went forth and said to her mother, What shall I ask? And she said, John Baptist's head. Then she came in straightway, with haste, unto the king, and asked, saying, I would that thou shouldest give me even now, in a charger, the head of John Baptist. Then the king was very sorry, yet for his oath's sake, and for their sakes, which sat at table with him, he would not refuse her. And immediately the king sent the hangman, and gave charge that his head should be brought in. So he went and beheaded him in the prison, and brought his head in a charger, and gave it to the maid. And the maid gave it to her mother. And when his disciples heard it, they came and took up his body, and put it in a tomb. And the apostles gathered themselves together to Jesus, and told him all things, both what they had done, and what they had taught. And he said unto them, Come you apart into the wilderness, and rest a while. For there were many comers and goers, that they had not leisure to eat. So they went by ship out of the way, into a desert place. But the people saw them when they departed, and many knew him, and ran afoot thither out of all cities, and came thither before them, and assembled unto him. Then Jesus went out, and saw a great multitude, and had compassion on them, because they were like sheep, which had no shepherd. And he began to teach them, saying many things. And when the day was now far spent, his disciples came unto him, saying, This is a desert place, and now the day is far past. Let them depart, that they may go into the country and towns about, and buy them bread, for they have nothing to eat. But he answered and said unto them, Give ye them to eat. And they said unto him, Shall we go and buy 200 penny worth of bread, and give them to eat? Then he said unto them, How many loaves have you? Go and look. And when they knew it, they said, 5, and 2 fishes. So he commanded them to make them all sit down by companies upon the green grass. Then they sat down by rows, by hundreds, and by 50s. And he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, and looked up to heaven, and gave thanks, and brake the loaves, and gave them to his disciples to set before them. And the 2 fishes he divided among them all. So they did all eat, and were satisfied. And they took up 12 baskets full of the fragments, and of the fishes. And they that had eaten were about 5,000 men. And straightway he caused his disciples to go into the ship, and to go before unto the other side, unto Bethsaida, while he sent away the people. Then as soon as he had sent them away, he departed into a mountain to pray. And when even was come, the ship was in the midst of the sea, and he alone on the land. And he saw them troubling and rowing, for the wind was contrary unto them. And about the 4th watch of the night, he came unto them, walking upon the sea, and would have passed by them. And when they saw him walking upon the sea, they supposed it had been a spirit, and cried out, for they all saw him and were sore afraid. But anon he talked with them, and said unto them, Be you of good comfort, it is I, be not afraid. Then he went up unto them into the ship, and the wind ceased, and they were much more amazed in themselves, and marveled that they had not considered the matter of the loaves, because their hearts were hardened. And they came over, and went into the land of Gennesaret, and arrived. So when they were come out of the ship, straightway they knew him, and ran about throughout all the region round about, and began to carry hither and thither in couches all that were sick, where they heard that he was. And whithersoever he entered into towns or cities or villages, they laid their sick in the streets, and prayed him that they might touch at the least the edge of his garment. And as many as touched him were made whole. Sevens pattern 77. Hi. How's it going? It's another beautiful day today for me. Praising the Lord for the abundance of all things. Doing okay. Oh, I missed some? Yeah, well, I'm still reading through the book of Enoch on the first half of the show. Now I'm in the Gospel of Mark for the second part. That was Mark chapter 6, and this now begins chapter 7 in the book of Mark. And this is from the 1560 Geneva Bible. Cool. Yeah. Then gathered unto him the Pharisees, and certain of the scribes, which came from Jerusalem. And when they saw some of his disciples eat meat with common hands, that is to say, unwashen, they complained. For the Pharisees and all the Jews, except they wash their hands often, eat not, holding the tradition of the elders. And when they come from the market, except they wash, they eat not. And many other things there be, which they have taken upon them to observe, as the washing of cups and pots, and of brazen vessels, and of beds. Then asked him the Pharisees and scribes, Why walk not thy disciples according to the tradition of the elders, but eat meat with unwashen hands? Then he answered and said unto them, Surely easy? Wow, I think it's Isaiah, but it's spelled in this version E-S-A-Y. Surely Isaiah hath prophesied well of you, hypocrites, as it is written, The people honoreth me with lips, but their heart is far away from me. But they worship me in vain, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. For ye lay the commandment of God apart, and observe the tradition of men, as the washing of pots and of cups, and many other such things ye do. And he said unto them, Well, ye reject the commandment of God, that ye may observe your own tradition. For Moses said, Honor thy father and thy mother, and whosoever shall speak evil of father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, if a man say to father or mother, Corban, that is, by the gift that is offered by me, thou mayest have profit, he shall be free. So ye suffer him no more to do any thing for his father or his mother, making the work of God of none authority by your tradition, which ye have ordained. And ye do many such like things. Then he called the whole multitude unto him, and said unto them, Hearken you all unto me, and understand, there is nothing without a man that can defile him, when it entereth into him. But the things which proceed out of him are they which defile the man. If any have ears to hear, let him hear. And when he came into an house, away from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. And he said unto them, What? Are ye without understanding also? Do ye not know that whatsoever thing from without entereth into a man cannot defile him, because it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out into the draught, which is the purging of all meats? Then he said, That which cometh out of a man, that defileth man. For from within, even out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, uncleanness, a wicked eye, backbiting, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within, and defile a man. And from thence he rose, and went into the borders of Tyrus and Sidon, and entered into an house, and would that no man should have known. But he could not be hid. For a certain woman, whose little daughter had an unclean spirit, heard of him, and came, and fell at his feet. And the woman was a Greek, a Syro-Phoenician by nation. And she besought him that he would cast out the devil out of her daughter. But Jesus said unto her, Let the children first be fed, for it is not good to take the children's bread, and cast it unto whelps. Then she answered and said unto him, Truth, Lord, yet indeed the whelps eat under the table of the children's crumbs. Then he said unto her, For this saying, Go thy way, the devil is gone out of thy daughter. And when she was come home to her house, she found the devil departed, and her daughter lying on the bed. And he departed again from the coasts of Tyrus and Sidon, and came unto the Sea of Galilee. The Sea of Galilee, through the midst of the coasts of Decapolis. And they brought unto him one that was deaf, and stammered in his speech, and prayed him to put his hand upon him. Then he took him aside from the multitude, and put his fingers in his ears, and did spit, and touched his tongue. And looking up to heaven, he sighed, and said unto him, Ephphatha, that is, be opened. And straightway his ears were opened, and the string of his tongue was loosed, and he spake plain. And he commanded them that they should tell no man, but how much soever he forbade them, the more a great deal they published it. And there beyond measure astonied, saying, He hath done all things well. He maketh both the deaf to hear, and the dumb to speak. Just gotta take a break here for a moment. I'm going to give it one more chapter. Chapter 8 in the book of Mark.
prints everything to get your brand in front of your fans, like t-shirts, water bottles, and totes, so everyone can. I am the truth, undefeatable. I set you free.
All right, wrapping it up today with Mark chapter.
What can I make with these ingredients?
Sorry about that. Mark chapter 8 here. In those days when there was a very great multitude, and had nothing to eat, Jesus called his disciples to him and said unto them, I have compassion on the multitude, because they have now continued with me 3 days, and have nothing to eat. And if I send them away fasting to their own houses, they would faint by the way, for some of them came from far. Then his disciples answered him, Whence can a man satisfy these with bread here in the wilderness? And he asked them, How many loaves have ye? And they said, 7. Then he commanded the multitude to sit down on the ground. And he took the 7 loaves, and gave thanks, brake them, and gave to his disciples to set before them. And they did set them before the people. They had also a few small fishes. And when he had given thanks, he commanded them also to be set before them. And they did eat, and were sufficed. And they took up the broken meat that was left, 7 baskets full. And they that had eaten were about 4,000. So he sent them away, and anon he entered into a ship with his disciples, and come into the parts of Dalmanutha. And the Pharisees came forth, and began to dispute with him, seeking of him a sign from heaven, and tempting him. Then he sighed deeply in his spirit, and said, Why doeth this generation seek a sign? Verily I say unto you, a sign shall not be given unto this generation. So he left them, and went into the ship again, and departed to the other side. And they had forgotten to take bread, neither had they in the ship with them but 1 loaf. And he charged them, saying, Take heed, and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, and the leaven of Herod. Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, and the leaven of Herod. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have no bread. Then when Jesus knew it, he said unto them, Why reason you thus, because you have no bread? Perceive you not, neither understand? Have ye your hearts yet hardened? Have ye eyes, and not see? Have you ears, and hear not? And do you not remember, when I broke the 5 loaves among 5,000? How many baskets full of broken meat took ye up? They said unto him, 12. And when I brake 7 among 4,000, how many baskets of the leavings of broken meat took you up? And they said, 7. Then he said unto them, How is it that you understand not? And he came to Bethsaida, and they brought a blind man unto him, and he desired him to touch him. Then he took the blind by the hand, and led him out of the town, and spat in his eyes, and put his hands upon him, and asked him if he saw aught. And he looked up and said, I see men, for I see them walking like trees. After that, he put his hands again upon his eyes, and made him look again. And he was restored to his sight, and saw every man afar off clearly. And he sent him home to his house, saying, Neither go into the town, nor tell it to any in the town. And Jesus went out, and his disciples, into the towns of Caesarea Philippi. And by the way, he asked his disciples, saying unto them, Whom do men say that I am? And they answered, Some say John Baptist, and some Elias, and some one of the prophets. And he said unto them, But whom say ye that I am? Then Peter answered and said unto him, Thou art that Christ. And he sharply charged them that concerning him they should tell no man. Then he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things, and should be reproved of the elders, and of the high priests, and of the scribes, and be slain, and within 3 days rise again. And he spake that thing boldly. Then Peter took him aside, and began to rebuke him. Then he turned back, and looked on his disciples, and rebuked Peter, saying, Get thee behind me, Satan, for thou understandest not the things that are of God, but the things that are of men. And he called the people unto him with his disciples, and said unto them, Whomsoever will follow me, let him forsake himself, and take up his cross, and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, he shall save it. For what shall it profit a man, though he should win the whole world, if he lose his soul? Or what exchange shall a man give for his soul? For whosoever shall be ashamed of me and of my words among this adulterous and sinful generation, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed also, when he cometh in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. Amen. Peace be with you, friends.